Okay, my name's Eunice Wanjiko Maina, and I'm in a program of ALX studying as a virtual assistant. And today I'm here to talk about virtual assistant. Who is a virtual assistant? A virtual assistant is somebody who is a trusted partner by individual or organization or a team who helps in running the business smoothly. Also, a virtual assistant has different roles and he does different roles. He is not limited to any role as a virtual assistant because it depends with the client. And these roles are: one is communicating with clients, giving them feedback, giving them reminders, updating them on what he or she, the client, is supposed to do. The other thing is organization as a virtual assistant, organizing the files and entering data and many others. The other thing is time management. When we talk about time management, he or she helps the client, the team, the organization, or the individual in time management so that the business can run smoothly. The other one is research, whereby the virtual assistant help the team or the organization or the individual in researching on the items or the business or the idea that he or she has been given by the team to research on. The other one is calendar management. Calendar management, whereby he or she, the virtual assistant, help the team, organization, or the individual to manage their calendar so that the business can run smoothly and they can be able to do other things that are important to the business. The other thing that the virtual assistant does is project support, whereby the virtual assistant helps in seeing that the other projects of the business run smoothly. The other thing that I want to talk about is why a virtual assistant should be strong. A strong virtual assistant depends on three things. There is the skills, there is the growth of mind, the guilt, or the persistence. The persistence of the virtual assistant is very important. The other things that the areas that a virtual assistant need to be strong are to be reliable to the team or organization or the individual. The other thing is to communicate clearly so that the clients can be able to understand what he or she is saying. The other thing that one need to be a strong virtual assistant is to be organized, whereby when we say organized, you have to organize your file, you have to do a good data entry so that the business can run smoothly. The other thing that to be a strong virtual assistant, one need to be proactive. What do we mean by being a proactive virtual assistant? Whereby you see the problems before the client sees them, you find solution to the problems and you tackle them, which makes the clients see you, that you see ahead of what is supposed to be done. The other thing is being adaptable, whereby you learn quickly of the tools that you're supposed to use. You don't need to be told on what to do. You need only to be adaptable. You learn quickly, do what's supposed to do, and you do the thing you're supposed to do. The other thing is professionalism. What do we mean by professionalism? That the information of the clients, they are confidential, private and confidential, whereby you don't give out information of the clients to any person. When you feed them to the data or you organize them, you have to put them private and confidential. The other thing I want to talk about virtual assistant, it is the strengths. What are my strengths as a virtual assistant? One needs to communicate clearly, to be able to remind clients on what they're supposed to update them on new ideas or what has happened new. The other thing is you have to conduct research. When you are conducting a research, you have to be able to look at the competitor, the prices, and the product or the manufacturers, and give the feedback to the clients. The other thing is organization. A good strength or strength for a virtual assistant, you have to be organized. What do we mean by being organized? The data that you enter, the files that you file, and what you're supposed to do helps the client business run smoothly. And the other thing is, what are my growth? When we talk of growth, there are things that you need to improve at. What do I need to improve at as a virtual assistant? What I need to improve is meeting deadlines, working under pressure. The other one is the tools that are used by a virtual assistant. I need to practice more on what a virtual assistant, the tools that we use, the Zoom, the Google Meet, the working space, and others. I need to put more effort, and learning is a process whereby it needs times and effort so that I be able to grow. And also persistence. Persistent is key. Persistent is key, and consistent is key as a virtual assistant, so that you can be able to grow. The other thing is time management. What I need to grow at. Time management, whereby I need to be able to manage my time and to meet the deadline of the client, so that I be able to be favored or have favor upon their eyes. The other thing I need to talk about is mindset. There is the grit and the perseverance. What do we mean by growth mind? We have the grit or the perseverance. When we talk about the three things, we'll know that learning is a process, and it is an opportunity, and it's not an obstacle, whereby we see that skills developed by practice. Failure is a process, and we should not be able to overlook it or feel bad while we fail. We have to stand and know that we should not give up. Also, feedback is very important as a virtual assistant, because it shows us the progress that we make as a virtual assistant. Where do we need to improve? Where do we need to up our game? Where do we need assistance? The other thing is progress. Progress is it depends on time, it depends on effort, and it depends on consistent. We need to put more effort on what we have to progress at. Then there is the question of, where do I see myself as a virtual assistant, my journey as a virtual assistant? What I need to know is that as a virtual assistant, we will face a lot of things, or we will face a lot of challenges, or we will face a lot of changes as a virtual assistant. But what comes in our mind when difficulties face us, we need to know that we need to persist. We need not to give up. We need not to feel bad when you fail, because when you fail is when we learn, and when we learn, we improve on what we are learning. So failure is a process, and we need to embrace it. Also, feedback is very important, that when we get feedback, when we are as a virtual assistant, it helps us understand clients more. When we understand our clients, we are able to help them get what they want. We are able to understand what they need. And with all this, it is a process. It is important to know that we need time and effort to be able to progress. So what I need to tell other virtual assistants, we should never give up. When difficulty comes, we should be persistent and have grit in us, because through grit we will able to change our career. Thank you.